Obviously, being the time of year it is,
Yes.
being Christmas Day, we... Sorry, go on, what were you going to say?
I was going to say a certain someone had a very busy night last night.
Yes.
Certain someone who wears a big red suit.
A very busy night last night.
Yes.
I can't fathom how you could get that much work done in one night, which is crazy.
I don't get that much work done in a year.
No. But our main topic for later on in the show, we're going to go into detail about some research I found on how he does his whole journey and how that whole thing sort of works.
I'm dying to find this out because I've heard so many theories.
And there's some interesting ones.
Yeah. And like this, I'm really excited to learn. And learn. But one of the things we're also going to learn is how does he fit down the chimney?
Yes.
And like there's a lot of other fun facts here, but I feel like one of the most important ones around Santa, the man in the big red suit.
Mm-hmm.
If anybody didn't know that that's who we were talking about.
Yes.
In case there's just
some
full disclosure, we're talking about Santa.
Just in case you thought we were talking about some other man in a big red suit, which would be a little bit strange.
Father Christmas, Saint Nicholas.
All the same guy.
That guy. But yeah, so we're going to be looking at how he fits down the chimney. And because, I mean, obviously he's quite large and chimneys are often quite small.
Mm-hmm.
And not all houses do have those stereotypical chimneys.
That's the
They're
thing.
the smaller ones. And again, some houses don't have chimneys at all.
My house doesn't have... Well, my house has a chimney, but at the end of the chimney, because it's an electric fire, it kind of closes off a little bit. So.
Oh, I see.
So you could still get down it, but it's quite narrow.
It's quite a slim fit. But not to worry, because, I mean, we all know that he does it somehow.
Yeah.
So this is how. Basically, he's travelling at huge speeds.
Of course.
Essentially, because big world needs fast lane.
We'll get into that a little bit later on, exactly
Yes.
how fast he has to be travelling.
Exactly, no spoilers. But the thing is, he might experience something called relativity, an effect of relativity, which was found out by Albert Einstein.
Yes, we've all heard relativity. Yeah.
Yes, and maybe not all of us know.
Okay, sorry, my apologies.
I'm not included in that, for sure. So the thing is, Santa might stretch as he moves very, very fast, and this would elongate Santa. So he would look like basically a piece of spaghetti.
Santa spaghetti. It's a long red and white spaghetti.
Yeah. I feel like maybe a candy cane would have been a more apt.
Oh, yeah, candy cane. Yeah,
I know
so
that
he looks like a
canes
candy cane.
are a little bit thicker than spaghetti, but for the time of year.
You're still getting that candy cane down the chimney. It's going to work.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're going to go with candy cane. We're going to...
Yes.
Calling this on the fly here, we are calling it a candy cane.
And he's going to be the colour of candy canes and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so basically, due to relativity, he's going to be elongated and super, super skinny.
Right.
He's going to be able to just like slip on down the chimney.
Ah.
And also, not to worry, because again, because we have an electric fire in our chimney, but it's just one that sits in the chimney, in the chimney. But some people do still have traditional chimneys.
Yeah.
And that's okay as well. Because I know when I was little, we used to have a fire. And I'd be terrified that poor Santa would be coming down the chimney and he'd go on fire.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry. Because he'll be coming down the chimney, it will block off any oxygen getting to the fire.
So that will put the fire out.
Yes. And flames need oxygen to burn. And so when that's all cut off, the fire goes out by the time he gets to the bottom. So don't worry about that. I
see. Yeah, that's one I hadn't thought about. I hadn't considered that one.
The worry was always there, but I'm glad I know now.
I just sort of assumed, being magic and probably quite fast coming down the chimney, he moved at such speed that he just didn't get burnt.
Yeah, there's that too. I suppose.
Like when you move, if you light a lighter, don't do this. Do not try this at home.
No.
But if you move your hand over it, like a flame, like a candle or something, you don't feel it.
Yeah.
Because you're moving so fast, you're actually kind of nearly brushing the flame out of the way. It's sort of Oh, I just hit my computer.
Or even when he's coming down, he comes down with there's a gust of wind or something that will put the fire out. Because to be fair, every time when I'd wake up in the morning, the fire would be out.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Actually, speaking of going to bed and waking up early, another kind of big question is, do grown-ups have to go to bed early on Christmas Eve?
No.
Because but it's really important, because now, again, when I was younger, my mum and dad always stayed up later than me. But that was how it was every day, no matter what day of the year. And I'd be asleep by the time they'd go to bed, so I didn't know what time they were going to bed at. But it is actually very important that they go to bed early as well, because I've noticed that they go to bed earlier on Christmas Eve than any other night. And any other grown-ups I've spoken to, They go to bed a little bit early on Christmas Eve, but I just thought they were tired and excited for Christmas. But no, everybody has to go to bed, so Santa has optimum visiting hours because he can visit at any time during darkness.
Mm-hmm.
So once the sun has gone to bed, so I got around from 6 p.m. to I'd say nearly 7 a.m.
Yep.
That's at this time of year, those are kind of the dark hours. So that's when he's visiting, and it's any time around then. People need to be in bed so he can, because if you're staying up late, he won't get a chance to visit.
No.
So then you're put to the back, and then he has to revisit your house, and then you're putting the whole schedule off. So make sure you're in bed.
Don't put Santa's schedule off.
Yeah, it's very important. He works very hard on it.
He does.
Yeah.
And I mean, could you imagine that? He's going around doing all the houses and then he gets to yours and you're up late.
Yeah.
And he has to wait or come back.
Yeah. Do a loop. Go around the block first.
He's a busy man. Just make his life a little bit easier.
Yeah. And another one that, again, did often leave me concerned, still leaves me concerned, to be honest. Bad weather affect Santa's journey? Because there has been many years where it's been very cloudy.
Yeah.
And I haven't been able to see Rudolph's nose in the sky. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, I can't see him, but can he see me?
And especially in Ireland, it's usually relatively cloudy.
Yeah, either cloudy or very frosty or windy. And things that would generally affect an airplane. Because with weather warnings and everything, it can be, it does, you get a bit worried. You know it's going to be okay. But you need to know that he's going to be okay as well. But basically, the short answer is no. Santa, because again, Santa is flying at such high speed and is so high up, he does it to avoid the bad weather. And he does come down through it in order to land. But his sleigh has been doing this for over thousands of years. So, it's used to it now. They have plenty of weather technology. And between hot countries and cold countries, his sleigh is all good.
Do you reckon it's been one sleigh that whole time?
I think so. I think it is, and they just kind of modify it.
Could be.
Yeah, because in the Santa Claus, that's what they did. They had his sleigh, and they changed it in the Santa Claus movie.
And they did a lot of research for that movie.
They did.
Yeah, they did.
And to me, that movie is more of a documentary.
Yeah. Well, we know it is. They were real elves and stuff.
I know that. Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah. And another question that is probably one of the up there with Santa getting down the chimney, most important. How does he have space in his sleigh? Because there are millions and millions of children all around the world, and if everybody's getting at least one pressie, how is it does he have to make a pit stop? Does he have the world broken up into sections where he flies back to the North Pole to reload? All these questions have been playing on my mind for 26 years now. 26 Christmases. And
I hope you have an answer.
I do. And people can stop worrying. Do you know what he uses? It's likely that he uses nanotechnology.
Wow.
To shrink all the presents down to teeny, teeny, tiny, tiny sizes. And which also helps with them getting down the chimney as well.
Just like Willy Wonka in the Chocolate Factory.
I know.
When he puts it into the machine and it comes, I
know.
Tiny chocolate.
You know what else it reminded me of? Hermione's bag in the 7th Harry Potter book.
Yes.
When she could fit everything in her tiny, tiny little handbag.
Her TARDIS bag.
Yes, yeah. So I think
what
Hermione
if his sleigh is
Santa,
a TARDIS?
Oh, that would actually help as well.
What if Santa's actually a Time Lord?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Mm-hmm.
He's a very old man.
He is. He could be a Time Lord. He could have 2 hearts.
Because he'd need 2 hearts, because he's just so much love for everybody.
This show just got to a totally different layer of geeky.
Yeah. But no, I know it's Christmas Day, and he did arrive last night, and we this year it was all good. He made it, but I'm glad to know that next year, if I do hear any weather warnings or any issues, or say if something's wrong with our chimney or somebody else, or if we move, and that it's all okay. And just a reminder that it doesn't have to be a chimney. It doesn't matter if you're in hotels or apartment blocks or anywhere. Santa always finds you.
That's the thing as well. It doesn't matter, because I think especially get a lot of kids getting a little bit concerned about whether the fact, maybe they live in an apartment or they live in maybe a newer house that was built without a chimney because it doesn't have a traditional fireplace in it.
Exactly, yeah.
There'd be no way. No, there's a way.
There's always a way, because now we know that he's as skinny as a candy cane. Mm-hmm. So there's plenty of, I'm sure there's a tiny little crack in a wall or something. Santa,
Yeah, there you go. You'll find out it's magic, and magic is just science with a different name.
Exactly. I think all science is magic.
It is. It absolutely is. It's the exact same thing.
Exactly.
It all kind of comes from the same thing.
Yes.
I found an interesting one just while we were kind of talking about that.
Ooh, do tell.
Rudolph's nose.
Of course.
And you were talking a little bit about Rudolph's nose as well.
Yeah.
And there was an interesting one where this researcher did a bit of research into it, and he was looking at it from less of a I'll put some links. What we do actually, I meant to say that we're going to maybe do it in future as well, is put links in the kind of podcast description or something of some of the information we've got, just so people can look into stuff themselves.
Perfect.
But this guy, what he kind of looked into was actual reindeer and how their kind of biology can affect something like this. Like, how could it be possible?
Okay.
Like, and is there a scientific reason? Maybe not just a magical reason, but is there a scientific reason that a reindeer could have a red nose? Okay. And the answer turns out to be that it possibly could be an abundance of red cells in his kind of nasal microvascular structure. Okay. Essentially, adult reindeers have these whole kind of the nasal mucosa are very, very rich in red blood cells, and it's done to kind of protect them against cold weather, and so that's why they have it. Yeah. But essentially, what can happen is you can kind of have a buildup of these, and it can cause their nose to have a little bit of a kind of a reddish sort of tinge to them. So it is possible in science that he could actually do it.
No, because I have a different scientific answer, and we could maybe do a poll, see which people think is the answer. But the one that I've heard is that it's due to something called the Doppler effect, and this is what Garda cars use actually to figure out how fast cars are going on the motorway. So this is kind of the same effect for Rudolph. So because the light at the end of Rudolph's nose is at the very tip of the sleigh, it's going to be bending. And the light bending in colour, as it moves away, it will appear much redder. Interestingly, if Rudolph was coming right at you, his nose would look bright blue.
Wow, okay, because the blue balance, the blue light kind of shift going on there. Yes. Yeah.
So 2 very sciencey answers. I'd like to hear what you think.
So which one is it?
It's the Doppler effect.
Yeah. Okay, it probably is, possibly. But I just like the idea of, extreme cold temperatures, maybe more red blood cells in the area. His nose is kind of engorged.
That is very likely as well, because, I mean, when you're up high anywhere, even just on a roof, it's chilly. So can you imagine how chilly it is where you're up beyond the clouds?
Yeah, our noses go a bit red.